Guys, what's going on? My name is Ryan. I like to trade ETFs and make videos on the technical analysis that I'm seeing in the charts here. So today we've got Brazil ETF, EWZ is the ticker, and we are on the weekly view right now. You can see that this downwards channel has acted as very strong support and resistance here in the past, getting supported, rejected, supported, rejected, rejected, supported, and right here we are just starting to what might be breakout and what might be rejected. We see that there's an enormous amount of bearish volume here on the weekly, just as there was over here. And what's more is that we can see some divergences in our indicators here on our CCI. We can see that price has continued to move upwards while our CCI highs have not reached new higher highs. The same can be said about the RSI here, continuously moving downwards as our price moves upwards. This divergence might be starting to take root here as we make another lower low and price makes its first lower low. So let's go to the daily. Here in the daily, you can see this massive drop in what I was talking about here in the RSI, making this high and then this lower high. As soon as we failed to go any higher here in the RSI, we see this massive dump, as well as some fundamental changes in the credit viability of Brazil. Here's a nice little trade off of this dead cat bounce down here at the $31, and I wrote it up for the majority of the move upwards here. And since then, I have been short and bearish on Brazil. This black line here marks strong support. And as far as our Fibonacci goes, we can see our swing low to our swing high here. These are going to be natural supports and resistance levels on our way down. So here we are in the hour chart, and this is going back to my original analysis a couple weeks ago, where I said that this might be a descending triangle, a bearish one, because price falls down into it. This line right here is a level of support. This line right here is also a level of support, and we will see how the psychology of the bearish descending triangle works out here. So we came up into the pattern here. We set our A, B, C, D, E, and then we struggled to move much further. We moved sideways, and then we finally broke down. We came down into our next level of support, and we have traded around this level since then. So let's go to the 30 minutes to get a more clear view of this. Again, we have our A, B, C, D, E pattern here. Let's get an even closer, more in-depth view. So my final target is down here about the 32.25 range. I've sold out half of my shares in BZQ, which is the 3 times bearish ETF here on Brazil. And this has worked out pretty perfectly as to what I wanted to see. So this is the descending triangle that I did most of my analysis on. I like to see all of this. We came down, we broke below, we hit our next level of support. We tried to come back into the pattern and we got rejected halfway, and then we came back down to the support, bounced up, hit this previous support, which is now resistance, and got rejected off of it. We fell down even further, and we completed our full measured moves, which we got from earlier in the pattern. So let's see that here in EWZ Brazil ETF. So here is our first pole, and we're supposed to bring this pole over here to the breakout point, which would be right about here or over here. Looks like this was the appropriate breakout point. I haven't changed these charts in a while, but either way, you can see that we came down to our next level of support. We came back into the pattern. We came back down to our level of support. We got rejected off of this previous support. Support becomes resistance. This will be our second pole from the high here to the low, and so we got rejected off of this. This would be our breakdown point because this is no longer support. Support is not holding up. So we would take this pole, clone it, and bring it over here. And the measured move from this clone falls to about 32.50, and we are 50 cents away from that. And you can see that we have basically completed the full descending triangle here on Brazil. So with this in mind, this is my target right here. I'll sell out the other half of my BZQ at this point. So from a longer term viewpoint, I'm bearish on Brazil just because we are at the top of this channel, which has held up many times here in the past, and we're starting to break down lower. This could be a head and shoulders here. We have our left shoulder, our head, and our right shoulder, and now we're starting to see this come into play, as well as the overall fundamental economic viewpoints that are pointing towards a relatively bearish stance here in the medium to long-term future. That gives me justification to hold this fairly bearish stance here on Brazil's ETF. In the medium term, both of these touches might have been a double top as well as the head. So here's our left shoulder, our head, and we could see a right shoulder form before we continue to move downwards. So again, long term I'm bearish, medium term I'm neutral, and short term I'm bullish. Why am I bullish in the short term? Well, here on the 30-minute chart, we've completed basically my entire measured move and the completed triangle, descending to triangle breakdown here for EWZ. So now that we've completed that, it would make sense for us to stop moving downwards and to see some bullish action to the upside, some recovery. Bears are going to be taking off their bearish positions, and this will allow price to move up slightly higher. So that's been my analysis for Brazil, ticker symbol EWZ this week. Thank you for taking the time to watch my technical analysis. I spend a lot of time on every video, and the support I've been getting has been very encouraging. Each video takes me an average of about an hour to make, from doing the technical analysis on screen, filming it, editing it down to try and take out all of the uhs and ums and pauses because I know that your time is valuable, and finally uploading it to YouTube to share it with you guys. So if you got anything out of this video, I'd sincerely appreciate a thumbs up and a subscribe so you can get my weekly updates and analysis every single week. Also, please comment below if you have any questions on my analysis, any criticisms, and you might have any different stocks that you'd like an opinion on. Take care. I'll see you next week. Bye.